afternoon. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love grow. Amen. We are family. We're here all together, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, oh, oh. Family, we're here all together, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. our love grow. Amen. We are family, we're here all together, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, oh, oh. Carry this love everywhere that we go, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Yeah. I am grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Amen. That the love of God is here. Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Penelope. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I am so glad that you're here with us today. My name is Reverend Jean Bell. My pronouns are she and her, and hey, welcome. If you are viewing on Facebook and YouTube Live, please like and share our broadcast so we can continue to spread the good news of New Thought out into the world. If this is your first time visiting with us, please see a welcome ambassador in the hallway. They have a gift especially for you. And please remember after service to see a practitioner. They'll be on either side of the room, and they are available for affirmative prayer. All right, so I would like to do the affirmation now. I'm going to read it all the way through, and then I'm going to invite you to say it with me. All right. Today I embrace sacred boldness. Courageously I step outside my comfort zone, knowing that the creative power of the universe propels me into right action. I proclaim my right to love, peace, and prosperity, and proclaim my capacity to achieve it. Boldness is my ally as I step forward today. All right, all together now, one voice. Today I embrace sacred boldness. Courageously I step outside my comfort zone, knowing that the creative power of the universe propels me into right action. I proclaim my right to love, peace, and prosperity, and proclaim my capacity to achieve it. Boldness is my ally as I step forward today. And so it is. Mally, please welcome Mally with the announcements.
Parking spots. I'm Mally Lapete, and I gladly serve here on the creative arts team of the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Let's get to the announcements. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at SLCA. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, Scan the QR code found on your monitor. It's not too late to join Reverend Dr. David Alexander's book study, Freedom from Discord. If you haven't purchased your copy, order it now on Amazon Prime and join one of our summer book study groups that are meeting weekly on Zoom. Register today and find out everything you need to know by logging in at newthoughtheducation.com. Today, during our 5 o'clock hour, we'll continue a 10-part, 10 core concepts of the Science of Mind series. During our New Thought Education Workshop hour, we invite you to explore how these concepts can change your life. Join us today in room 122. That's room 122 downstairs off the hallway as you go into the community hall. Our July 7th monthly potluck and Bring a Friend Sunday is coming up. It's in 2 weeks. If you have been considering inviting your friend and introducing them to our Sunday experience, now's the time. We're excited to meet your friends and welcome them to the SLCA family as we share great food and amazing fellowship following the services, right? Oh, it's great food. As our community grows, we're looking for those willing to volunteer. Please consider donating just one Sunday a month and serve on one of our many SLCA teams. We're specifically looking for those to join our hospitality team. Speak with Shannon after the services to find out perfect ways you can serve. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to visiting with you after the service in the social hall for food and fellowship. You belong.
There's a new church on the horizon, made of light, not of stone, calling out to all creation, you are not alone. Lions and lambs, saints and sinners, best of friends, enemies, woman and man, losers and winners, they are all in you and me. We are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together, yes, we are all a part of one heart. Out in the cold, there are faces hidden by the wind and rain. Hold out your hand, someone will take it and bring you home again. We are one heart, looking for answers. We are one soul, finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together. Yes, we are all a part of one heart. Around the world today, oh, the fires are burning, tears are falling from the sky. Still the world keeps turning. We are one heart, one soul, one dream we share together. Yes, we are all a part of one heart, looking for answers. We are Yes, we are all a part, yeah, of one heart. Thank you. Amen. Open your mind, unfold your heart, relax your senses, feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath. Release your cringe. Love without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound.
With open hearts and expanded minds, we step into this space this beautiful day, knowing that there is right here in this space something greater than we are. This presence, this power is everywhere all the time. There is never an absence of it. And it perfectly and beautifully and completely expresses itself through me, through you, through each and every individual, through each and every idea, through each and everything. All life emanates from this creative one, this magnificent source energy, the force of the universe. I call it God. And knowing that this is so, I know who I am. And because I know who I am, a manifestation of that one that created me, I know who you are, a perfect manifestation. And with the full potentiality within each one of us, we are enjoying this journey of discovery, discovering our special gifts and talents, discovering the gifts that the universe has for us. And I accept the love, the peace, the joy. I accept the abundance, the justice. I accept the freedom. All of this life, I accept it in its fullness. No reservation, no equivocation. God fully expressing itself. And so I'm grateful. My heart is filled with gratitude this day, right now, for our community, for those that I can see with my physical eye, and those who are part of our community in absentia. Truly, we are all gathered in the fabric of the spiritual family, the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta welcomes everyone with open hearts and expanded consciousness. I release my word into the immutable law, knowing that I have spoken truth and knowing that the law receives the words, the direct impress of my thought, and has already acted upon it. And so together we affirm, and so it is.
You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. So lift up your voice. Let it be heard. Tell me your story. Tell it to me. Don't leave out a word. Cause I think I have been there too, and I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound, yeah. So it is. Thank you, Baji Daniels, for that beautiful prayer. You got up top with me. Welcome, Haniel, Mastriani Levy. Yes. Love having him here with me. Yeah. One, I've been running in circles, jumping the hurdles, getting caught in the rush of doing so much. I feel I'm kind of worn out, always checking the boxes, trying to be flawless. Has me spinning my head and catching my breath. I'm too afraid to slow down. I tell myself to keep this up, that God wants more than just my love. But I've been complicating things. It's just like me to overthink, and gotta keep it real simple. Bring everything right back to ground zero, cause it all comes down to this: love God, love people. We're living in a world that keeps breaking, but if we want to find a way to change it, well, it all comes down to this: love God, love people. All this freedom, the keys to the kingdom. Knowing life will be found when love can be loud, cause love is what it's all about. I tell myself to keep this up, that all God wants is just my love. But no more complicating things. It's just like me to overthink, and gotta keep it real simple. Bring everything right back to ground zero, cause it all comes down to this: love God, love people. We're living in a world that keeps breaking, but if we want to find a way to change it, well, it all comes down to this: love God, love people. Love is patient, love is kind, rescues hearts and changes lives. Love is all we need to make things right. Gotta keep it real simple. It's really so simple. right back to ground zero. 'Cause it all comes down to this: love God and love people. You agree? Really so simple. Well, it all comes down to this: love God, love people. Keep on loving, yeah. Love God, love people. So keep on loving. That's how we change the world. Love God, love people. Yeah. Thank you.
A gracious and glorious good afternoon to you. That was weak. Let's do that again. A gracious and glorious good afternoon to you. Thank you, thank you. He was born in June of 1911, and he was destined from birth to be a little light in the loafers, as we say. Neil Monroe Roger was, in the view of onlookers, a passing peacock, but to intimates, a life enhancer and exemplary friend. In many ways, Bunny, as he was known, was a contradiction. He was the son of a self-made, conservative, extremely conservative and strict tycoon, and one of 3 gay brothers. While it must have been challenging and probably disappointing to his parents, he was exactly who he was, and he took no pains to hide it, to fit in, or to win approval. At 6 years old, his mother gave him a fairy costume with diaphanous skirts and butterflies' wings. They did. In his youth, he delighted in challenging his father by wearing rouge and bleaching his hair. Teenage Bunny had asked for a doll's house as a reward for being selected for a sports team. Can you imagine a guy with fairy wings on a sports team? And his father gave it to him. He did. Bunny plucked his eyebrows to look like Marlene Dietrich. He was expelled from Oxford University for his indiscreet queerness, and undaunted, he started his own fashion house at 26 years old, and his first client was Vivian Lee. Now, 5 years later, he was fighting Nazis. He had enthusiastically joined the Rifle Brigade and served as an officer in North Africa and Italy. He led his troops into battle while heavily rouged and wearing a mauve scarf. Bunny's courage was legendary. While under fire, wearing these chiffon scarves, he saved a wounded fellow soldier from a bombed-out building, and he claimed to have gone into battle brandishing a rolled-up copy of Vogue. Now, he described the Italian campaign by saying, "There were pieces of people flying all around me, and I thought, this is perfectly awful, but not as bad as going to school." Really. He was a highly successful businessman at the war's end. He took over the couture shop of an upscale London department store, and he invested in the business of a discreetly gay designer who designed for the Queen. Yes. This move paid off handsomely because when he sold it later on, he had more than enough money to retire in comfort. And this is good, for Bunny spent thousands and thousands of pounds every year on his wardrobe. You may wonder why I'm telling you all this, but it's true. He owned over 150 Seville Row suits, estimated about $2,000 each, with 4 pairs of handmade exquisite shoes to go with them, each suit, which he polished with his own mixture of beeswax and natural dyes. And he often embellished his shoes with red shoelaces to match his ruby cufflinks. He loved to dance. He did. He hosted outrageous theme parties for his 60th, 70th, and 80th birthday. He held diamond, amethyst, and flame balls to celebrate, wearing an exotic mauve, let me make sure I got this right, an exotic mauve catsuit with a feather headdress for his 70th birthday in 81. And for his 80th, he sported a catsuit made of scarlet sequins with a cape of orange organza. Now that is an individual, isn't it? His parties were covered by the newspapers. He had big spreads upon them, and including one where he had a New Year's Eve fetish ball where half the people were stiff upper crust London members of society, and the other half wore rubber S&M suits. This outraged his father. I mean, outraged his father, the same one who had bought him a doll's house. Bunny is said to have once gotten out of a taxi, and the driver said, wait, you dropped your diamond necklace. And Roger, ever the gentleman, said, oh no, I would never wear diamonds with tweed. And when he visited Hollywood, he was disappointed that he was compared to actor George Arliss and not Dietrich. And in later years, his face was what he described as much lifted. Now, should none of this ring a bell and you're going, who is this guy? Why is she telling us this? Let me say his most famous thing of all was inventing capri pants. If you wondered where they came from, it was Bunny Roger. Now, he heavily influenced through his designs how most of the men and women of London were dressing at the time. He lived large. He really did. He was one of three bachelor brothers, as we used to call them, and he was the most eccentric. So surely Neil Monroe Rogers had challenges and ostracism for his flamboyant lifestyle, absolutely. Imagine life with his strict upper crust father, described as having no sense of humor. And earlier I spoke of his bleached hair. Bunny's father, Sir Alexander Roger, was described as granite-hard, self-made Scottish tycoon who had founded a communications business. And in the futile hope of interesting his son in something productive, he summoned him to a board meeting. Well, you know, Bunny showed up, and his hair was bleached from brown to blonde. The board was horrified and incensed, and his father was apoplectic. I imagine it was not peaceful at the house that night. But going through school and the war and the business world, we can imagine his treatment by society, by others, possibly abuse and ridicule due to his refusal to compromise. Absolutely. In my research, and I do not know this man, I have only researched him, I never found a complaint about abuse, about depression, about being ostracized or left out. I never found negative consequences, although I'm sure there were some. Now, Bunny died a few days before his 86th birthday in 1997, and he partied up right until the time he went into the hospital for cancer treatment. He bragged at the time that he still wore a perfect size 7 shoe and still had the same waist measurement as Princess Diana. He did. Yet his death was written up in the New London Times. You know, think about this for a minute with me. Here is a man who was the antithesis and probably the scourge in many people's mind of decent society. Absolutely. He defied standards of behavior and dress, and certainly people thought he was abusive of the common decency. Being gay in England was illegal until 1967, in Scotland 1980, and North Ireland until 1982. You can imagine what that was like, and yet there Bunny was. Now, homosexuality is still viewed by many people as an abomination in the eyes of God. Absolutely, abomination. And if you think that's all changed, we're so much more liberal, I would invite you to look at something I recently came across. It is entitled The Mandate for Leadership, The Conservative Promise, Project 2025, a Presidential Transition Project. This document goes on to say how we need to take America back to who it really was, and it devalues and degrades and tries to rid us of our inclusivity and our diversity. Certainly, people like Bunny would not have a good time. That document makes for really chilling reading. Now, so you can only imagine, if that's today, what were the attitudes like in early 20th century England? And although there are reports of his father's great displeasure with him, I found no mention anywhere of abuse, of jail time, prison sentences, public humiliation, depression, or mental illness. And to me, that is remarkable, knowing what he probably went through. You can say his father was rich, they didn't touch him. That hasn't stopped many people, whether you are rich, famous, good-looking, or whatever, from trying to take you down. Absolutely. So what is it about Bunny Rogers that made him have such a different experience? I don't know, personality-wise. We do know that people who are liked are a lot more taken care of than people who are not. But let's look at it from the science of mind or religious science perspective. Science of mind teaches that everything is spiritual or relating to the spirit or soul. So if everything is a spiritual experience, then everything is a spiritual experience. And from a different standpoint, we can say that every moment is an opportunity to be more and better. And Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of religious science, or science of mind as we call it, taught there is a universal intelligence that is constantly responding to our thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, and actions. This is an energetic thing, and it responds in like, bringing the circumstances of our life back that mirror the energy that we put out. Now, one thing about it is this intelligence does not judge. It creates according to what it gets. It's like you stand in front of a mirror. Unfortunately, you see what you brought to it some days. It may not be pleasing, but it's there. But there is no big man in the sky that we have to curry favor from. We were not created, absolutely not created, to follow a set of rules that makes us good in the eyes of others. We were created to express our divine nature, absolutely. To live as fully as we can, direct our innate ability to create with the cosmic intelligence. Absolutely. You know, and we create even if we don't realize what some of our beliefs are. We embody what we believe. Our thoughts become our physical reality. So what does this mean? If there is no judgment, does just anything go? Yes, actually it can, unfortunately. It's akin to the old adage about electricity. It's a power, it's impersonal. It can fry a man or fry a meal. And that's harsh, but it's true. Absolutely. You know, viewed dispassionately, this involves different directions for the same force. Universal energy or electricity. We can do what we choose to with it. It is our choice. And the divine doesn't stand up there and say, I know you didn't mean it. That's not a good idea. Let's rethink this. It does so automatically. But does this mean there are no consequences for our actions? Absolutely not. Because we can create with the co-creation of the infinite. We don't create, we co-create with the infinite. We direct it like we can direct electricity by flipping on a light. But we don't control the results all the time. We can't control that. These things happen. And what we put out comes back to us. So if we're putting out loving thoughts, benevolent thoughts, kind, compassionate, generous actions, that's going to come back to us. And if we choose to be awful and horrible and mean, abusive, murderous, that energy is going to come back to us in some way, even if it looks nothing like what we expect it to. And in my life, I have learned many times that the answers to what I call my prayers or spiritual mind treatments come back in ways I never thought of. You know, the universe is not random, not at all, and the results are not random either. This is a mathematically precise universe, and there is no divine being or no flunky legion of angels monitoring us to see who we talk to, what we do, what party barks we do, and where we use them. Absolutely not. You know, the divine did not dispense life according to a set of standards that were put up and designed before we even were on this earth. Absolutely not. So what does God want from us? We call God the Spirit, this intelligence. I'm familiar with the word God. What does God want from us? And I was taught by my teacher, Ken Schultz, who started the first Science of Mind church here in Atlanta, that it's like we're looking at God. God, what do you want from me? And God's looking down and saying, what do you want? And we go, what do you want from me? What do you want? And this can go on endless little loop until we realize the power of creation that we have innately within us. Absolutely. Until we grasp the nature and the power of our thoughts and beliefs, we're just going to keep cycling over and over and over. Now, when you want to do something, Ernest Holmes did put out 3 criteria that are just as applicable today as they were when he said them for making a good decision. Number 1, first, is this something I really want to do? Second, is this in keeping with my values? And third, does it bring harm to any living being? So first, do I really want to do it? Maybe there's something I really, really want to do. Maybe I want to, cheat at craps and win a lot of money. Okay, is it in keeping with my values? Yes, if my values are to make money at any cost. And does it harm any other living being? Well, if you're cheating something, there's some harm going on. So there's that caveat. When you do something that you are going to have to deal with what happens afterwards. And we don't control that. We don't control anything, but we sometimes even don't feel like we control ourselves, do we? Now, in all the things I've read about spirituality, in not one place in New Thought have I found a caveat about race, religion, gender, politics, manner of dress, or sexuality. Nature or God or divine mind, whatever you choose to call it, created an infinite variety of life. And who are we to argue with that? Who are we to argue that? Each form has its divine origin. Now, I must make a full disclosure. I highly question the wisdom of the infinite in creating okra, which I think came from one of Dante's circles of hell, and feel free to disagree with me, and please don't tell me, but if you only had it fried. I digress, sorry. But rather than shrinking from our creative urges, rather than shrinking from us, please know we were put here to expand ourselves, to expand who we are. That divine part of us. We can expand whatever parts we want. You can be Hitler or Mother Teresa, whatever aspect of your particular personality you choose to do. We shouldn't shrink from ourselves. We were to express more and more and more of our truest selves. Absolutely. And you have the option to express whatever part of your personality you want. We can have violence and bigotry. We can even destroy the very planet we live on. But doing so is not in keeping with the expansion of life. It is not life-affirming. But we don't have to know exactly how to do what I'm talking about. I'm not going to sit down and say, okay, the first thing is, and I plot out 3 pages of notes about how this is going to happen. That's not my job, and it's not your job. We are not on the Ways and Means Committee. We're on the what, and God is on the how. We don't have to know how to do something. The infinite knows, and something within us knows that will come forth from that divine place within us. You know, we don't have to believe ourselves unworthy or incapable. We were not put here to shrink. Living large is not sacrilege, it is sacred. I'm going to say that again. Living large is not sacrilege, it is sacred, absolutely. And we can do it without manipulating and controlling, cheating, stealing, whatever. There's ways to do it. We don't have to gain at the cost of others' good. You know, God knows how to do all this. There's an infinite intelligence. I can't even conceive of how big it is. I have my own thoughts, but I think they're limited. But I am pretty sure that an intelligence that could create this world with mathematical precision, that if our planet went off its orbit by 1 degree, no life would be possible here in the future. And knowing that, I think I leave it up to the infinite to design a better widget and deliver it to us, whatever the widget is. You know, it's really important that we keep our view to our goals in life. We stay true to our vision of a better life and a better world. Knowing that God always says yes to us does not eliminate those who was discouraged, stand in our way, denigrate us, belittle us. You know that. It does not make things necessarily easy, but it does make them possible. But we must keep our vision on what it is we want to create. Absolutely. You know, if you gave an order to turn right, but then, no, turn left, and turn, you know, your driver, where would you go in the street? You'd still be in the same place. We can't keep fluttering back and forth. When we want to create powerfully, we must stick to our vision. We know that we can allow for that vision to expand or edit itself to be better. But, you know, keep in mind what Holmes said about the values to consider. And, you know, I think the minute we believe we can do something, we can. It is telling that the life of Bunny Roger was written up in an obituary in the London Times. And you may say, well, you know, he was rich, he was famous, his daddy was a big guy in society. There are many rich, well-known people who do not get that treatment. I'm sure you can probably think of someone who you don't think happens to have the nicest personality or whatever, who has those. And there are many of them who are not getting very nice treatment, especially a lot of gay men throughout history. Now, I don't know the details of Bunny's life, only what I read about him. And one thing I know that really stands out, he lived large and he was true to himself. Absolutely. He never wavered. That contradiction, here was this man in chiffon and rouge and catsuits who courageously went into battle against the Nazis and saved people. And the London Times, this is what they wrote in their eulogy for him. Beneath his mauve mannerisms, Bunny was stalwart, frank, dependable, and undeceived. He lived his life courageously and consistently, a man who knew who, what, and why he existed. A man who lived courageously, consistently, and knew what, why, and how he was going about life. Now, expressing ourselves boldly, you may not want to choose the Bunny route. I don't think I would. But that's up to you. The fact is, we are all divine beings. We have that divine spark. And far from living sacrilege, to live boldly, to live in faith. I'm not talking about just some whim of the ego here or there, but to truly live in faith. That is sacred. Our convictions go out into the ether of consciousness Absolutely, and open the way. And this is the way to make a world that works for everyone. And doing so makes a world a better place than the world in which we're in. So let's do it. Let's create boldly. Be who you are. You may stumble, you may fall. Keep to your vision, step right up, and create boldly. After all, it's spiritually correct, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Reverend Susan. I want to chante and sashay like Bunny. But I don't have any chiffon. So, would the practitioners please come forth? We're going to prepare for our offering. And I just want to remind all of you that these practitioners have spent many years in training to prepare a consciousness that knows only wholeness, only love. So please avail yourself to them. Affirmative prayer is a way of coming to understanding that there is nothing to heal, only the truth about you to be revealed. All right. I want to thank you for the offerings that you provide to this center. I want to thank you for your generosity, your love, and your kindness. Because without you, we would not be a community. It is your offerings, your givings, that make this possible. So whether you give electronically, put your hands on your heart, or if you give with cash and check, hold your offerings to your heart. And let's say this grateful giving together. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. Thank you, and make it a great day.
Join me. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone, everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Yeah. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Yes, we do. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Everyone. Yeah. Have a great weekend. We'll see you downstairs in the social hall and for our afternoon workshop.